Now by the heating expert and founder of the Heating Hub, Jo Alsop. Jo, thank you for your time talking to us today. And your background is in boilers and heating, how to use them efficiently, heat homes efficiently and more cheaply. But as I discussed with a guest a little earlier, when you're looking at an 80% plus rise in your bills, it's going to be nigh on impossible to make the sort of efficiencies that could make up the difference.
It's going to be very difficult, and I think government are going to have to step in on this occasion to make up the shortfall for many households. I think there's not really any avoiding that, but I think that there are still things that households can do to reduce the amount of gas that they use, and do it themselves on their own boilers safely and easily.
And what's your advice then?
So yes, if you have a condensing combi boiler, which is a boiler without you can do a couple of things. You can reduce the flow temperature for the heating system. So on the front of the boiler, there's a couple of dials, and one will have a dial with a little radiator icon. And that's often set to about 80 degrees Celsius. And this is the temperature that the boiler heats up the water to before sending it off to your radiators. But this is actually too high for the boiler to run efficiently. So if you have a condensing boiler, which is a modern boiler, an A-rated boiler, it needs to run at a lower flow temperature in order to achieve some of its higher efficiencies. Most households don't appreciate that their boilers have a variable efficiency. They're not A-rated out of the box. They can operate between A and E-rated, and one of the reasons it will be operating at a low efficiency is because of a high operating temperature to the radiators.
People are switching things off though, aren't they? They're afraid to even switch appliances on. I mean, have you ever known a situation like this where people have been facing such a drastic increase in their energy bills?
No, I haven't, and I've never, as a consumer myself, as a householder myself, I'm a single mum, 2 children, equally facing the same enormous bill. So, and your previous person that you were speaking to crying, and these are the sort of conversations that we're having through our business every day. Our households are afraid to turn on to their heating, and just don't know what to do or where to turn.
Yeah, and clearly there has to be a conversation. There is a conversation going on, but there has to be a bigger conversation probably about how we store energy here, how we make our homes more efficient. Clearly, it's easy to do that with newer bills and new builds, but so much of the housing stock, there needs to be retrospective action, doesn't there, to make those homes more efficient?
Yes, urgently, and this is something that we're campaigning for through our website. Energy efficiency through insulation is a must. I mean, we're talking about spending 70 billion on subsidies for energy bills that will not help us again next winter. We need to spend that money once to reduce energy demand in our homes, and then that will pay back year on year. But also not to forget, we talk about loft insulation, cavity wall insulation. These are sometimes measures that are difficult to implement, but actually energy efficiency through heating systems is a less appreciated measure that we can lever even that we can use, and bringing better efficiencies to our existing gas boilers. I know we're all very focused on heat pumps and making the energy transition, but there is a lot of latent efficiency in our existing systems, and we should be turning our attention to that now.
Jo Alsop, thank you very much, founder of the Heating Hub.